why I wanted to put the question out there for the two of you. Let's say, for example, just before the World Cup, we're around October, November time, and Erik ten Hag's Manchester United are around 15th, 11th. We're not doing that well. What do you think Erik ten Hag should do next? Do you think he should A, stick with Man United until the end of the season, B, leave before the World Cup and save his reputation because he frankly doesn't deserve this and has been let down by the board, or C, just stick throughout of it because he's gone through tough times at Utrecht, he's gone through tough times at FC20. But what do you guys kind of think? Do you reckon it could be somewhere where he kind of needs to save his own reputation because he's been a very, very good coach, probably one of the top 10 coaches in Europe over the last 5 years for what he's done at Ajax as well. So Adil, I'll go with you first, then we'll go with Ariel on what your thoughts would be on Erik ten Hag. By the way, anyone listening, I am a Man United fan, so not an Erik ten Hag fan, but I do back the manager more than I back these players. So I hope people know this because these players have let me down too often as well.
I think he needs to, well, he knows the players now. He knows who he can rely on and who he can't rely on.
Mm-hmm.
I think he needs to trust in himself to pick the players that he wants to play and the system he wants to play in, and hope that he gets backing in the last 2 weeks of the transfer window to bring in players that fit the way he wants to play. As I said, he wants composure on the ball. Every player has to be composed on the ball. So who he picks from the current players we have to fit the way he plays, and the ones that don't fit and the ones that don't want to play the way he wants to play, drop them. Don't ever pick them again.
Some of these players,
and I think he would. I think if he does that, he will save himself, and he will see that things will start to improve because they need coaching. These players do.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
By the way, shout out Steve McLaren and Mitchell van der Gaar because those two are very good coaches. They're world-class coach, and Steve McLaren, even though we bantered him for being the England coach that knocked us out, Wally Brolly, we didn't get to the Euros, is a very good coach, like he did at Middlesbrough and at Manchester United previously as well. So we do have the coaching staff there at Manchester United. Yeah. So it's just down to how they actually listen to them as well and how they actually come across to these players as well.
I think they have to pick players that fit the way they want to play and stick with them.
Yeah,
like players like Maguire and Shaw don't listen. Just don't pick them.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, whether you get backing in the transfer market or you don't, pick the youth players if you think they suit the way you play.
Yeah, because they'll be learning. They'll be they'll be observing what everyone's doing in training. So that could be a good way of bringing the likes of James Garner or Zidane Ekbal into this team, which would be better than seeing 11 players who don't really want to play for the badge, which is quite sad to see as well.
They just need, he has to pick players that play his way, players he can trust, players he can create a bond with, players that can create a bond with each other. And I'm not going to recommend anything because who am I to recommend? But
you never know. They might be listening to Friday Night Counter Attack this week. You never know.
He shouldn't walk. He should stick with it. Whether Man United come under new ownership in the near future, who knows?
Who knows? And there's talks of that today as well. We'll let Ariel say his piece and then we'll move on to that bit before we wrap up this part of the podcast. So Ariel, what are your thoughts on what we just said? Should Ten Hag walk? Should he stay? Maintain his reputation? What should he do? What do you think he should do?
Well, idealistically, I think I would say I mean, so this is another part of myself too. Manchester United is also my second favorite team, so I'll say that in England. Mm-hmm. So
and it's okay for Ariel because he's an American.
Yeah, because I'm over here. So I'm from far away, and I have multiple teams that I like.
Make sure you're following strictly football for his North American and CONCACAF football. If you go to him and you abuse him about Man United and Arsenal, don't. We will not be happy about that. He doesn't deserve it.
Hey, it's okay. I mean,
all good.
Come check it out anyways. Because again, this is just like from the outside in. I think idealistically, I want Manchester United to be back to where it was. Some of my fondest memories when I was younger was watching Manchester United against Chelsea. And so I want them to do well. So idealistically, I would love for Ten Hag to stay there because I think he is a really good coach. I think he has the potential to actually, like have like that effect that Sir Alex Ferguson had, where he's there for a long time, and he can do that. But I think like realistically, if the ship is, the ship is sinking. It's been sinking, and if it
10 years
means
it's
like
been sinking.
it's been sinking, I don't think that Manchester United prepared themselves well enough for that transition after Sir Alex Ferguson.
But should
Like,
he be jumping in this lifeboat straight away?
I think a part of it, I will say this, and I don't know how controversial. I do think some of the blame is actually on Sir Alex Ferguson, me personally.
No,
Because
it is. I
because
agree.
there was no plan after life after you was not prepared, and there was no plan, and so a part of it lands on arguably one of the best coaches of all time, potentially
And he was one of the main factors of the Glazers buying Manchester United as well. That's for a whole nother story, a whole nother podcast. But if people don't know this, he was one of the key factors for the Glazers signing Manchester United as they.
I think like idealistically, I would love for him to stay, to like ride out the wave, be there, get rid of those players that are just like dead weight. Fucking do what we did with Aubameyang. Just fucking terminate their contract, get them the fuck out of here.
Put it on Amazon Prime.
You know what I'm saying?
And
like
let everyone see that.
Yeah, dude, I would love to just get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Like, good luck. I'd rather Ten Hag just get rid of those players and just have a clean slate and have a real chance, And I think like they still have a little bit of time to do some of that, get rid of one or two players that are just like they're just there just to take up space. You know what I'm saying? Like, and we know this. A fan that's like an Arsenal fan, like I know this because we experienced that with Arsenal. And once we got rid of those players, there was just a different feeling, right? Like you got rid of the Guendouzi's of the world, the freaking Williams of the world that are just eating up the payroll and like just space on the team. So I don't know if the ship doesn't seem like there's any patches or anything happening. I think he needs to get the hell out of there too. I think he needs to get out. If there's no sign of willingness to change, there has to be some willingness to change here, because what's happening right now is not working, and like the Glazers, everybody has to be in line with that.
Just a bit of breaking news. I was gone dry for a second. I just saw some breaking news pop through on the laptop. How we're talking about a new owner. There's been talks from Sky Sports that Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the richest man in England, is interested in buying a stake in Manchester United. So he's looking at kind of getting involved with former players and is looking to make a serious offer. This is how my voice is just choked when we just speak as well. It's not your audio, ladies and gentlemen, it's me. But yeah, he's already got a stake in FC. He's got a club in Switzerland. He's got one in Nice as well. And I think he owns like a bike team as well, a cycling team. And there's obviously the CEO of Ineos Group Limited. So if that were the case, even though there have been jokes of Elon Musk signing Man United, there is a serious contention for Sir Jim Ratcliffe to actually look to become make an offer into Manchester United as well. And I think, like I said, we don't talk about controversy that much in terms of ownerships and stuff, but I really think if this was the case, just go for it. You're the richest man in the country. Everyone would be loving you for the rest of your life, man. Like, just go into it. Man United fans around the world will be just doing everything for you as well. But there are talks from the Times where it's saying if it was possible, he'd be interested in taking a long-term ownership as well. And there's talks of him actually looking to get some help from the former players and some senior officials as well who have worked at Manchester United as well. And he's looking at trying to do it in a different kind of way from the Glazers. And the Glazers are apparently open to selling as well. So, yeah, I think that's a to be continued on that one as well. Hopefully in a couple of weeks' time or a couple of months' time, there's some fruition to these stories. But just as we were speaking there, these topics have come out as breaking news in the United Kingdom. So, yeah, promising sides ahead. It's kind of like, at the end of Star Wars when Luke's hands gets chopped off as well, when he's looking into the galaxy and is like, you know what, something good could happen. Does the Empire strike back? I don't know with this Man United side. The Empire is not strong enough at Manchester United. But there are talks of fans actually trying to protest outside the ground for the Liverpool game. So if that happens as well.
I think they probably will. There will be a big protest on Monday.
Yeah, definitely.
Boy, that's a tough game. Oh man, it's just like
If you do you play
it's a
fantasy football, Ariel?
I do not know.
Okay. If you were to play fantasy football, I'd triple captain Mohamed Salah for that game to make sure you're getting so many of these points in this game as well.
Liverpool fans are worried because they haven't had a good start to the season, but there's a banker, Man United.
You're going to get your first 3 points of the season against Manchester United, which is good as well.
Yeah.